And Professor Howhill, yes, please.
Pak Anies, selamat datang. Very nice to see you again. Thank you for your interesting talk. By the way, I think you're being too modest. Your city is 11 million people, but as I understand it, it doubles to the Australian population size during the day. So you've got an even bigger job than you talked about. So let me, if I may ask you an economics question, since I first met you as an economics student at Gadjah Mada. So, and your prospective career looking forward. So the Indonesian economy has done quite well during the democratic era, last 25 years. And I'd argue, and a lot of people argue also, that one of the reasons is that the key economics positions have been sort of insulated or outside the political process. That is, the two key posts, Menteri Keuangan and Bank Indonesia Governor, have typically been technocratic people, exemplified currently by Ibu Sri Mulyani and Pak Peri Warjo. So that seems to be a crucial part of the Indonesian political economy construct in the democratic era. Looking forward, would that be your intention to keep that kind of tradition going? Thank you very much and welcome again.
It's up to you, so 1, 2, 3, yeah. So, Islamists, Pak Prabowo and the economy, 2024. You have 5 minutes.
This is so Canberra. It was quiet. When Pak Anil Kumar, thanks for coming. Usually quiet audience like this is in Singapore, Pak. Okay, but it was quiet here. Anyway, the first questions with regard to aspirations. I've received many aspirations, and when I'm working as governors, then I have few principles that I uphold when making decision. What are the first one? First is justice to all, the principle of justice. Number 2, common sense has to be there. Okay. Number 3 is public interest. And number 4 is rules and regulations and undang-undang. Okay. So I didn't work the other way around, Pak. Because most of us in government will be working the other way around. Number 1 is following rules and regulations, but sometimes they're not making sense. Okay? And sometimes they're not in the public interest. And sometimes it doesn't reflect the principle of justice. So, our approach has been like that. So, principle of justice, and then common sense, akal sehat, and then public interest, and then rules and regulations. So with that, I believe that's the very principles of Islam too. It's justice. So that has been our approach. And if you are witnessing Jakarta in the past 5 years, we try to always ensure that 4 principle is being adopted. So it's not specifically only for a certain religious group, but also to all. And that has been the approach. And I like to carry on that approach toward the future. Second questions. I think I really need to listen to the quote, Pak. But would you be willing to fight against Pak Prabowo? That was the questions, right? What do you think, Pak? If I may address, I think toward the future of Indonesia, we'll see who will be on the tickets. We don't know yet. And I myself, if I were asked 6 months ago, I never expected the nomination come that early. I always thought that presidential nominations would perhaps start around May and June this year. That was, my thinking. And that's why after I finish my term in October, I like to take a break, perhaps sabbatical, and do a little bit of work before election cycles. And I wasn't sure which directions I will be going. I may be going for re-election for Jakarta, which is also next year. But it can also be a national elections. And I was always being frank. I wasn't sure. Why? Because I'm not the leader of a political party. I cannot nominate myself through political parties. for the gubernatorial elections, non-partisan candidate is possible. But for the presidential elections, there is no non-partisan candidate. So it has to be nominated by political party. However, we know that Nasdem nominated in October, and then last month PKS, and then Democrats. So here I am, non-partisan person nominated by 3 political party, and yet some party